Hi there, we are back with Will Floor. I love that name. Will,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you.
Will,
Grateful to be here.
you're here to talk about your documentary.
Yeah.
So tell us all about it.
Yes. So the name of my documentary is Just Start. It's a short documentary about 7.5 minutes.
Okay.
And the story is about a sexual abuse survivor who finds healing through the sport of trail running.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Did you write this, or you came up with the idea of, like, how did you, I know you can't write a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
What was the catalyst of, why did this become of interest to you?
Yeah. So I got into trail running about 4 years ago. And as I started to do the sport more and more and do races around the state of Utah, Ragnar, Cirque Series, I found a lot of healing through the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Something about sprinting up mountains in dirt and heavy breathing and shin splints and just pain in general. Like, I found a lot of healing through my own traumas.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it'd be a really cool idea to visually show that kind of feeling of somebody like running up an epic mountain with a sunset in the background. And I thought about my good friend, Madeline Wolfenbarger, who is the main character in the film. And we worked together at a marketing department, and she was always trail running. Like, that was her life. That's all I've ever heard about her, really. And she was doing races around the state of Utah and outside of Utah, and we stayed in touch ever since. And I followed her story of just trail running all over, and I thought, oh, it should be a great subject. And we got dinner one night, and I asked her, like, what's the why behind why she does it all the time? And suddenly the story went way beyond trail running, and it became more a story about overcoming extreme hardship and transforming yourself into a powerhouse of a human being and like overcoming very difficult things. And starting from a very broken place too. So I felt very impacted by her story to make a film about it.
And she was willing to participate.
She was. She was.
Great.
And I wanted to make sure that I was a safe space for her to share her story, and that I had very little input or manipulation of the story. And I wanted to keep it very much her own narration of how she came to be where she is now and where she was before, and do my job as a filmmaker to technically and cinematically like make it appeasing to an audience.
So tell me about the process of making it. Like, what were there any big obstacles you ran up against or lessons you've learned?
Yeah. Ideally, the goal was we wanted to shoot this all in one day.
Oh, wow.
That's
ambitious.
Yeah, we wanted to be very ambitious and make it challenging, more so challenging for myself, just because I find myself having all the time in the world to do projects, but then sometimes they never get done. So this time I really wanted to be diligent, and her story is powerful enough and where we wanted to make it concise and to the point. So we felt that one day would be ideal enough to do an interview and do B-roll footage. And it was great. We were racing the sun a little bit to get some of the shots in the film.
What time of year was this?
This was in October of 2023.
Before the time changes, at least.
Before the time changes. Yeah.
But still, at the end of the season.
Yeah, end of the season. And something about the fall time, especially here in Salt Lake, like the sunsets are just, you just get this beautiful golden light.
Oh, yeah. Gorgeous.
On the mountainside. So, yeah. And of course, when you're in that like limitation of time, you as a filmmaker, you just have to be so quick on your feet, and literally, because we were running all over. So
quite literally on your feet.
Yeah. So,
was there how long is the final film?
7.5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good little short.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it already screened here. And you said it's been screening at some other festivals before, so you've had some good screen time with it.
Yeah.
What has the feedback been so far from audiences?
It's been great. Just a lot of people are very moved by Maddie's story, and just how, and a lot of people have been inspired to make their own choice to like start their own healing journey or like get into running.
Wow.
And there's a line in the film where Maddie says, like, you don't have to be a D1 college level athlete to like be a runner. Like you could take a 10-minute walk and you're considered a runner. Like starting is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's the message we really want people to take away from this film, is like, that's why the name of this film is called Just Start, because like it is, you know, starting really is the hardest thing to do out of anything new, like especially when it comes to healing.
Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So, and there's so many things that we do as humans to heal, and to do something like running, trail running especially, like it's a difficult thing.
Yeah.
And she's worked her way up now to this point where she's like an elite athlete doing ultra marathons.
Wow.
Like running 35 miles and longer. Just a powerhouse of a human being.
That's
so
amazing.
And yeah, the response has been great overall.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Have you done documentaries before, or was this your first documentary?
I've done documentaries
okay.
before.
Is this kind of your genre? Is this where you like to live?
I do like to live a lot in this
in the documentary.
In the documentary, yeah.
Okay.
I love being inspired by stories that are happening around us everywhere.
Yeah.
In real time, and specifically to people who find resilience in the space of the outdoors. People who really do connect with being outside and like building this resilience and kind of this connection with themselves and with the community people around them in the outdoors, especially.
Do you have an idea for your next documentary?
I do. It's my next documentary is going to be on a retired firefighter, now ocean photographer in the Monterey Bay area.
Wow.
Currently works full-time, has his own shop on Cannery Row, which is like the main road in Monterey. And he just takes these gorgeous pictures of shore break, just the waves crashing. And I think there's an interesting connection between being a past firefighter and now an ocean photographer, and still kind of that being in that scary situation of like capturing this beauty with this danger almost. I think there's something really fascinating and beautiful about that, and it's also an excuse for me to go out and shoot waves as well.
Which doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Is this going to be another short, or are you hoping to turn this into a feature?
I think we're aiming for a short.
Okay.
Once again, I think a little bit longer than Just Start.
Yeah.
But definitely in the shorts category.
Good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was going to ask you if you had any other, if your narrative work was going to go anywhere, but it sounds like you're happy staying in the documentary lane.
Yeah,
okay.
I do love the documentary lane. I have thought more about narrative as well. We were talking earlier, I came from a background in acting for 10 years, so there is something that I do like about having like a scripted story.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of ideas that I've been toying with, but documentary is like what's singing to my heart.
Do you edit?
Right now. I do edit.
So you
yes.
do all of it.
Yeah, I like to do a lot of it. I would say editing is probably my strongest skill. I'm trying to get more into directing and cinematography as well, to have that under my belt.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little bit of everything.
I was talking to another documentary filmmaker about the concept of the documentary, the story happening in the edit rather than in the script, because there is no script.
Yeah.
And so that's fascinating. I think there's a lot of power as an editor in documentary work, which is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I think editors really do have a lot of power in how the final story comes out. And as an editor, you have infinite possibilities on how to like shape the tone, the feeling, the pace, the overall message of it. And for me, like I get into a flow state when I edit, and that's like where I find a lot of my joy in doing the art as well.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there anything we didn't get to talk about in regards to your film that's in the festival? Or you feel like we covered everything pretty well? I just want to make sure that we don't leave anything on the table before we let you go.
Yeah, for sure. I think we covered a lot.
Okay.
Just Start. Keep an eye out for it for any upcoming festivals. We are looking to publicly release it later.
Great.
This year, hopefully within the next 4 months. So keep an eye out for that. And
excellent.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, tell me a fun fact about you.
Fun fact. I've swam with humpback whales before.
That is a very fun fact.
Yeah.
I have not done that.
surreal. It's a surreal experience.
Very cool. I love
Yeah,
it.
kind of terrifying too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
You're here, so you survived it.
Survived.
You
Yeah.
lived.
We're swimming out in this wide open water, and our guide is like, just so you know, there's white tip reef sharks around here.
Ooh.
So just keep your eyes out. And we're all like, okay. But then you hear the sound of these whales like singing in the ocean, and it's just meditative. It's like an experience you can't get anywhere else. So
That sounds
very, very privileged, very, very grateful for the opportunity.
Sounds amazing.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to me for a few minutes, and
For
good luck
sure.
with whatever happens next with you.
Awesome. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right. We will be back with way more interviews at the Utah International Film Festival.